Instagram. So I saw this tag going around, and you guys know I'm a eyeshadow lover. I love colorful eyeshadow, so or whatever. I just love eyeshadow palettes. So I decided to do this tag. I'm not gonna film it because I could just sit here and go live really quickly, and then you guys can get it and kind of see where my head is at about eyeshadows for this year. So for me, let's just jump right in. And it was just like, I think it was 11 questions. So I have them written down, and then I'm just going to go through them, and I'll tell you a little bit about why I feel a certain way. It is what it is. Let the folks get mad, the haters in the back. But anyway, really quickly, this is not a sponsored video or anything like that. Never is right now. Who knows? But anyway, so for me, this was a little difficult. I'm not gonna include the Juvia's Place palettes, right? Because they have their own separate. Because there's so many of them, and they, Juvia's Place is having a little bit of some issues, so we will just leave them, where they are. So, but to get started, then this was hard, you guys. Oh my, so if you have an extensive eyeshadow palette collection, then but the first question was your all-time favorite. And I have to give it to these two right here. So I'm gonna try to pull them out delicately and put them back delicately. It's Pat McGrath. I couldn't really distinguish between these two because if I had to pick and only be left with these two, I think I could do whatever I needed to do in this world out of these two. So the first one is the Pat McGrath Bronze. Let me see. And the Pat McGrath Divine Rose 2. So this one is the Divine Rose 2. And you'll see why, why I'm making some of these choices that I'm making. But, yeah, I could do a lot out of this palette because, I love a good sparkle. So I'm not afraid of her sparkle shades, That's not everyone's jam, and that's okay. And then this one, because I feel like if you want to go, a little deep, you can actually do that. And then you can still be sparkly. Hey, Kesha. Hey, Miss Pink. And then we're not even doing makeup. We're on her playing today. So yes, these would be my like the all-time, like if you know what I'm saying, if they made a baby, this would be like to me, in my honest opinion, because of how I like to do my makeup or my eyeshadow looks. I need fun and something that keeps me inspired. And these two, when I decide to play in either one of these palettes, I always enjoy the eyeshadow looks that I come up with. So those are going to be my all-time favorite. I just couldn't say one. I had to say both of them. But anyway, so then, okay, let me put these delicately back down because, baby, I do not want to break it. The next question was your new favorite. And I know, okay, so go ahead and get mad. But my new favorite is the Pat McGrath. Thank you, Melanie. It's just, we'll talk about that later. Is the Pat McGrath Celestial Odyssey. I don't know why this palette got so much heat, but I'm confused. This green shade alone. And I don't know why, but that's like the baby was made kind of sort of with some more pops of color. I love this eyeshadow palette, you guys. I don't get the hate that it got. Somebody said they don't get the color story, but she gave us so much pops of color. You can do deep. You can do an everyday. You could do a smoky, a black, a brown. I don't know why this one was really confusing, like why people gave this palette so much hate. I love this palette. So I'm sorry. She is my new favorite, my new baby. One of my new babies. Okay. So then the next question was a palette that you're keeping for memories. And you guys, there is no way in the world I could ever get rid of this Kat Von D Metal Matte palette. I've always said if they really wanted to make a splash back onto the scene, you see this? I still use this palette. I'm not getting rid of this palette. This formulation, it's like none other. And for it to be as old as it is, let me just see if I can swatch a few for you guys. For it to be, look at that. Oh, I got stuff on them. Let me go right here. I got a towel. But look at that. For that formula, for this palette to be as old as it is and the pigmentation is still holding like that, me put this white up. It's some blue got on the white, but that's really white. But do you see what I'm saying? The opaqueness in this palette. I'm never getting rid of this palette. I'm so sorry. And I know a lot of people hate that they didn't get their hands on it. I'm telling you, KVD Beauty is what y'all are now. I know this was up under the Kat Von D brand, but if you guys ever want to make a splash back in it like you did with Good Apple, I'm telling you, this metal matte, because these right here, it is, I'm telling you, the pigment, look at this. This is still the bomb. Look at that. And I'm just saying, they would not make a mistake if they brought this palette back, because so many people missed out on that palette. I think that they would serve themselves do such a justice to themselves to bring back the metal matte palette with this formula though. Don't try to be shady on, because these mattes in here are so, even though they're pigmented, they're not, they're easy to blend. They're not hard to work with. It's a soft pigment matte formula, and the shimmers are beautiful. So yes, this is my, I'm keeping for memories, but I still use, don't get it twisted, I still rock this palette, okay? I'm not ever going to have this palette. And then I think that scares some of us sometimes when we get something like this, that we will not move it out of our collection. I'm not moving this out of my collection. So, the next question was most underrated. I'm going to say this brand as a whole is underrated. And I hated to hear the other day about them, filing for bankruptcy and having issues or whatever, because BH Cosmetics produces some really great eyeshadows. I'm going to go with Avocado Toast. I know that greens can sometimes scare people, but let me tell you what they did that was so magical about this palette was when they put this black and brown and this orange. This is a neutral dream, a smoky eye, and then you can still, I'm telling you, these shimmers in here, look at that. Their shimmers, I'm trying to do that, are up to par. And I think that when this, but they got pink and coral. I mean, like, you can do so much with this palette, and you're not stuck to just, the greens. That's why I really, really, really think this is one of their best palettes, and it's underrated. I wish BH Cosmetics the best. I hope that they can survive and that they are able to come back, or that they don't go anywhere. I'm not saying they go anywhere. I don't know. I'm just saying if they can survive, it would be really great, because for the price point, I think I got this palette for like $5 or $6, and it, not just because they put their stuff on sale, but because they make it, affordable. And some of my best looks I have gotten out of, a lot of their palettes. So BH Cosmetics just underrated all the way around. I wish them the best. Okay. A palette you cannot get rid of. I cannot get rid of my Urban Decay Born to Run. Do you see why? This palette, oh my God, I just think, and I do also think that it was underrated as well. The formula on this one, Urban Decay, whatever you all did magical in here, I don't know why you can't keep producing that same level of magic. It's like everything is in this one palette. The tones in it is just appropriate for all kind of skin tones. So you're not stuck just using half of the palette. I have used every shade. Now, of course, some I've hit pan on, because I used this palette so much when it first came out. That I was doing, of course, the neutral looks and playing around with the shimmers. But to be able to do some of this one monotone type stuff that they had going on in here, you cannot beat that. I'm not going to get rid of this palette. This going to be my baby. And when it goes on sale, I tell people, I actually got one for my makeup kit, because it's so versatile. And the formula is really, really good. So I hate that, people didn't really give this one a try like I thought they should have. I don't know. I just thought it was good. If you disagree with me, just put it in the comments and we can chat about it, okay? The next one was your favorite collaboration. Okay, I think that I think that the way they did Jackie Aina, and I love ABH, don't get it twisted, but I don't think they gave her shine like she was really due. She came for the chocolate girls. You see how much I use this palette, so I still use this palette. I use this palette so much She gave us everything we needed in a chocolate friendly ABH palette. I'm just gonna say it. There wasn't a shade in here that was not thought out, and a sparkle that was not thought out. So like, you don't have to get stuck just, you know, kind of not getting your shine on. You could kind of amp it up, and I just think she provided. And y'all don't pay attention to my palette. I use this palette. I think I used it the other day. As a matter of fact, I still use this palette. I think it is one of the best melanin popping friendly chocolate girl friendly palettes out there, and it was just a beautiful combination. I actually think I'm gonna do something out of here for Valentine's Day or something like that. But yeah, the Jackie Aina times ABH, yes, I think they did her disservice when they didn't let her really get her shine out. Like, I thought she should have. Like, I don't think they should have came out with the Amrezy palette that quickly, you know. Right. This is always my go-to. I love this palette, and I'm so glad that I have this and that she was able to produce that for us chocolate girls. Okay. The next one was your favorite 2021. The only reason why, I know this probably gonna shock y'all. The only reason why I'm giving this palette my favorite is because right now in this makeup season, even though I don't personally subscribe to the, you know, don't do your makeup, we're not doing our makeup, we wearing a mask, I don't subscribe to that. I feel like, you know, have fun with whatever makes you happy, and I enjoy eyeshadow. But like you could tell today, this is very basic, and I have fallen in love with the One Size Patrick Star Visionary palette, you guys. When I say I have been using this palette almost every day, these shades in here, I know he thought about some of these like MAC, like this brown. This is definitely saddle or something like that. I can't remember the name of. But to me, what he did was gave this is for the girls, for the chocolate girls. I don't care what nobody say, because all of these shadows I have used and they show up on my skin tone. He is not afraid to put pigment behind his eyeshadows. They blend very well. Is what I have on my eye today, and I just love it. I love the fact that I can go in with Papa Blue, which is so complimentary to my melanin sisters out there, especially underneath. If you want to stay neutral, then go with a pop of color underneath. This right here as an inner corner, or even as a the tone of this over this black, magical. I'm telling y'all, you will not be this is really like your, if you wanted to travel palette and you just didn't want to, you know, take the chance of messing up something, you can get all your looks out of here, day, night, sparkle, whatever. Okay, I am here for it. All right. So yeah, that is my favorite from 2021, because I use this. I'm using this like it's brand new. I'm still using it. I love the eyeshadow palette. Okay, so the next one was Didn't Expect to Love. Okay. I ordered this on such a whim because I have been hearing all these things about, you know, these bigger palettes from Norvina. And when I first saw the color stories from the first, you know, they was releasing a lot of stuff where I was like, it's too much. Like, it became overwhelming. But I think for me, when I received this Norvina 5, you guys, listen, this palette is so freaking beautiful. I know it's a purple heavy palette, but you can still do some great neutrals out of here. This would be your Valentine. Oh my God, the sparkles in here. I know a lot of people don't get into that, but this shade E3 right here, yeah. Look at that. Shut the front door. Shut the back door. Look at that. Oh my God, that's woo, woo. Anyway, this really shocked me. I ain't gonna tell no story. I absolutely fell in love with this palette. I'm not sure about the other formulas or the other color stories for the other series, because she has more. But this Norvina 5, if you are a purple, lilac, pink, mauve, all of that in one, I absolutely love this palette. And yes, it did shock me, because I was like, but I got it, and I'm glad I did. And it says, the palette that sparks joy. Okay, so this is an older palette, but I still use this palette, and I wish Dose of Colors would re-release this palette, because When I got it, I did buy it on a whim. But when I tell you guys, I traveled with this palette so much. I've even used it on people just to show them, you know, the beauty of this palette and the versatility of this palette. I love the Desi Katie Francation palette. Let me show you how much. This whole row of neutrals with all this little antique gold green, this blue on top of a black, both of those, oh my god. And that's these sparkle shades that are, this is indented, you guys just can't really see it on camera, but those sparkle shades in here, those two, they are to die for. I love this palette. I wish that they would absolutely bring this palette back. I don't know what it would take. Look at this antique. Girl, that over. Oh, that over. Oh, over a black. Oh my God. As a halo or what? That palette right there. It just makes me happy when I use that palette. And when I show it on other people, it's just something about it. Just, I always get beautiful eye looks when I use that palette. I just love it. I love seeing it in my collection. Also because it's sparkly. Come on. This one, yeah, you gotta, it brings me so much joy. It says the newest palette in my collection would be, let me see, hopefully this is it. The last and latest thing, because I'm not really, if you've been listening to me, I'm not really buying a lot of eyeshadows this year, eyeshadow palettes, unless it's something that just sparks my interest. And but because my collection is so, it's a lot, y'all. So I've just decided I'm going to just play in my stuff. I'm not going to waste money on things that, and just like being repetitive about stuff, I'm not going to do that. I'm past that. But the last thing that I bought, and I, oh, I don't know why this palette is getting so much hate either, is the Utopian Dream from Pat McGrath. Y'all, listen, I know that she gets flack for the pinks. But the pinks in here, this the softness of her shimmer formula and her special shade. Look at that. That is a trio chrome or whatever they calling it. It's not a duo because it can turn pink, like a darker brown, and then like a gold reflexes in there. And then sometimes when you look at it straight on, it and this sparkle shade, I just tap it over stuff at this point. Let me show y'all. I just tap it over. I don't care what the eye look is. That shade right there, that little sparkle shade, I will just go right on in with no glitter glue and just pop it on my lid and give me, look at that sparkle. Look at that sparkle with no glitter glue. This is just straight from the finger to your eye. I don't know what people be, but this is my latest, and I love Pat McGrath. I'm so sorry. She gets all, if she comes out with a Mothership 10, that's what I'll be purchasing this year. Okay? So then the last one was the latest palette you've used, and this was kind of a shocker for me because when I saw this palette in store, I was like, I didn't even attempt to swatch it. Just some things you just kind of be like, nah. But I was pleasantly surprised when I actually ended up with the Huda Beauty Retro Grade palette. I don't know what to say. You will see how far I have dug into this palette, you guys. Look at that. See, I'm going to turn it to the side so you guys can see the indentions in these colors. I love the versatility of this palette. I love these neon, or not neon, but they're more pastel-y type colors. I love that for like a softer look and an unexpected look. So like this pink. Oh, yay! This pink right here, like that pastel pink, I would wear that by on its own. Sometimes simplicity is the way to go, but these are so buttery and so smooth. And I was just shocked by this formula because her other formula and the other ones are a little hard pressed to me. But this one, the sparkle and the fun that you could have with this palette is, look at that. Her little topper shades, they're beautiful. And I just have this shade right here, whatever this special magic is, I don't want to drop it. Look at that. tapped it too. I didn't got the tapping, but yeah. I absolutely have adored playing with this palette. And I'm going to give an honorable mention. Even though this palette came out, I think in 2020, I am going to say that, how do I talk about this palette? I use this palette so much because I just think it is beautiful. And I think when Pat McGrath came out with this palette, you know, for these amount of shades, even though there are no special shades in here, I just like the thought process of allowing everybody the chance to experience her in all her sparkle beauty. I still use this palette. I do not care what they say. She did the dang on thing to me with the bigger palettes. Giving us so much. I know it can be pricey, but she gives so much in these big palettes for us to be able to just say, have a ball. And I don't know if she talk like that. Have a ball. I'm saying that's the way I feel. I'm going to call this, what palette makes you say, have a ball in your Pat McGrath voice. This would be it. I love this palette. It's so spectacular to me. I had so much fun using this palette. And yeah, this one will always be my have a ball palette. Okay? All right, you guys, this was so much fun. Definitely let me know your thoughts. Let me know some of what you know, thought was I may have missed out on. Put it in the comments. Let a sister know. I really tried to give this as much. I know it's Pat McGrath heavy. Yes, I love it. I still feel like for the price, she still outbeats some people that I'm not going to support their brand. But I just think that for her, I don't know. I don't know. Just me being a makeup artist or a nail tech or just a person, for Color Theory 101, I just love her thought behind putting some of these palettes together. I get that a lot of people may not get it, but I think sometimes when people are trying to give you as much as they can, they do have to step back and edit themselves. And it does have to be, if you're talking about it being fair, medium, deep, and dark, it does have to be all of that sometimes. And I think that, you know, given the chance, I think people course correct where they can. Thank you. Yes, you do. Melanie, girl, you should have got her at the holidays. Always at the holidays. If you're thinking about supporting her, definitely always check her at the holidays, because her sales from her website, you just can't beat it. And if you're a collector like me, at this point, I just want to have as much as especially her eyeshadow palettes. I just want them. And I can wait on a sale or whatever. I don't have to pay full price for them because she gives us so much to play with. And these pan sizes are not small. So you're not going to be able, if you're an eyeshadow collector now, you're not going to be able to just run through them like that. Not unless you digging into it every day. And then if you are, cool, that means you getting your money's worth out of that joker. And I'm here for that as well. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was so much fun for me to kind of go back down memory lane and kind of think about some stuff that, you know, made me excited for eyeshadow looks. You know, listening to TikTok in the world. Sometimes you will believe that people don't play in color, but that's not true. I still play in color. I still love, you know, doing very different eyeshadow looks from everybody else. You're welcome. And I just believe in, you know, whatever brings it out of you, then you go for that. Whatever eyeshadow palette brings out the best in you, then go for that. But yeah, nothing too complicated. I just wanted to jump on this little eyeshadow tag trend. I thought it was fun. And it made me rethink and pull out some stuff that, you know, I hadn't seen in a while. But it will be coming back on the radar. I think I'm going to do a old makeup, you know, video and just be like, this is the makeup I still have, and it is not harmful. I don't want nobody breaking out with it. So yeah, just so expect to see some of these eyeshadows palettes coming up in the upcoming video. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Until the next time, I see you all in the next turn. Thanks, YouTube.